YouTube. We're also on Rumble. So, like I said, if you guys want to find us on any platform that you use, anchor.fm/D&D1. Well, Danny, this is it's the last Sunday.
Yeah, last Sunday without anything, with nothing really to do.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always things to do, but I mean,
Mm-hmm.
in our world, Sundays in the winter over the winter is king. You know, that's you know, fucking 8 9 hours of straight football all day.
Yeah. It's good. I mean, I like the game that they got to
Well,
start for Thursday.
oh, Buffalo and LA, yeah, that's
Yeah.
gonna be a good game.
All right, so I guess I'll go through my lineup first.
All right,
My team. Huh.
you had the first pick too, right?
No, I had the second pick. My wife had the first pick. But what's funny is me and you were playing each other this week.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good matchup too.
Yeah. Alrighty. So I have Matthew Stafford, Najee Harris, Antonio Gibson, Tony Pollard, Cooper Cup, Mike Evans, Jalen Waddle, Robert Tunyon, DJ Moore, the Patriots defense, Jake Elliott, my bench, running back Chase Edmond, running back from the Buffalo Bills, Devin Singletary, New Orleans wide receiver Jarvis Landry, Mike Gesicki, Miami tight end, Dallas wide receiver Kayvon Turpin, Jacksonville running back James Robinson, wide receiver from San Francisco Brandon Ayuk, running back from the New York Jets Michael Carter, and my final player is Mac Jones, the New England quarterback. So I guess I would say I mean I did decent, but my running backs could be stronger,
Yeah,
and I'm also in a conundrum. It's do I start Matt or do I start Mac?
yeah. I'm not sure. That's a tough one.
And we know that projections don't mean shit.
No,
Like they have Devin Singletary projected 22 points for Thursday night.
really.
Yeah. So like that's why I have Tony Pollard in and Antonio Gibson. It's like I don't see fucking Devin Singletary getting 22 points against the Rams.
Yeah, but Dallas is going up against Tampa Bay.
Yeah, but Tampa Bay isn't the team they were 2 years ago.
No, but I still expect that defense to be pretty good.
Yeah, but it's not as formidable into the in the middle, like with Sue and
Yeah.
I mean I think do these I don't even think they have Jason Pierre-Paul anymore.
Plus, you guys still have Ezekiel Elliott, so I mean, it's going to be a running back by committee kind of thing. It's both are going to get their fair share of touches.
Yeah, they don't even have JPP anymore. And yeah, like last year, definitely Zeke was leading that backfield. But I think with the public demanding, like I'm definitely an advocate for it. Like Pollard needs to touch the ball more. He's a better back at this point in their careers.
Right.
You know, Zeke is pretty much like he goes through that one gap, makes one cut, and then he falls. Pollard, on the other hand, makes the one cut and he's gone. So I
Yeah.
mean, it should be interesting. I mean, I got 4 days to make a decision.
Yeah.
All right, you want to go through your lineup now?
Yeah. So I have the fifth pick. I have Justin Herbert, Joe Mixon, Nick Chubb, Damian Harris, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, Hunter Renfro.
The guy who works for Costco.
Yeah. Dalton Schultz, uh, Jerry Judy as my flex, but that's bound to definitely change. I suspect. The Saints defense, Harrison Bucker. My bench is Jamison Carter, Mark Ingram, Raheem Mostert, Alexander Madison, Christian Kirk, Kirk Cousins, Tyler Higbee, the Broncos defense, and Tyler Boyd. Now,
Yeah,
going
you
into
got
my
a
draft,
conundrum at defense, man.
what?
I said you got a conundrum at defense.
Yeah, I know. It's two good matchups this week.
Right? It's like, do I wait till Monday night so Denver can fucking absolutely blow Seattle out of the water, or do you stick with your guns with New Orleans because Atlanta doesn't know, their foot from their fucking shoe?
Yeah, and coming into this draft, I wanted to try to have a balanced attack when it came to the draft. Like running back, wide receiver, running back, wide receiver. But I had been watching some videos on YouTube, and um, and I seen this one video from this one channel, Fantasy Headliners, and they broke down a thing where it's like, if you go running back early, wide receiver early, quarterback early. I ultimately ended up going running back early without even really realizing it. Because after I took Joe Mixon, I'm sitting there and I'm like, you know, after this next round, the running backs are really just gonna fucking drop off, and I'm like, there's way more receivers out there than there is running backs, and I'm like, you know what? I might as well just grab Nick Chubb,
Hmm.
and
That was a
then
good pick, though.
yeah, and then I ended up taking Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. And you had said something on draft day. It was like, oh, I know what Danny's trying to do, and that wasn't my initial thought. But then,
But if it fell to you, you were definitely taking it.
absolutely, and then I forgot who it was, but someone had taken Josh Allen in the previous round, so that kind of got my head like stirring. Like,
Mm-hmm.
all right, my first four picks were really good. I think the two top 15 running backs, two top 15 wide receivers. And I'm like, you know what? If I can get me an elite level quarterback to go along with this, and then just fill out my roster properly,
Mm-hmm.
I should be looking pretty good. Now running backs after Joe Mixon and Nick Chubb, it definitely falls off with Damian Harris and having Mark Ingram, Raheem Mostert, and Alex Madison. But I feel like my depth at wide receiver,
Mm-hmm.
you know, is what's gonna help me with that. As far as being able to mix and match different guys in the flex spot. I mean, granted, Tyler Boyd's the third receiver in Cincinnati, but if any one of those top two guys goes down, he's
He'll,
going to get more touches,
yeah,
and I just feel like that's going to be a Joe Mixon's going to do his thing, but I feel like that's going to be a more passing attack offense.
yeah.
But I still expect Joe Mixon to do his thing. I still expect him to rush for over 1,000 yards. I still expect him to have at least 10 touchdowns.
I mean, it's very hard, like we always say. It's hard for especially running backs to replicate the year they had the previous year.
Yeah,
But I think he's definitely secured that job it's his job, and they're gonna lean on him, especially because now there's gonna be double coverage thrown their way. A lot of bracket coverage. So I was the last one in our draft to take a quarterback. I took a quarterback in I think the 11th round. I was the last one. I stuck wide receiver, running back, tight end.
yeah. All
And
right.
you're projected to beat me 237 and 226.
Yep. So, I mean, I think it's gonna be one of the better matchups within our league this week. You know,
Yeah.
and I
That and Stu versus Mary, Hyro versus Chris, and then Wilhelm versus Mr. Four Tight Ends.
yeah, and three defenses.
Oh my God.
Like, yo, this guy, like, I don't even know, I don't even remember what round it was, but this guy took fucking Gerald Everett in like the fucking fourth round or whatever it was. And I'm like, yo, are you out of your fucking mind? Like, bro, you could have had a plethora of better tight ends,
The 8th round, he took Gerald Everett.
whatever it was. And I'm like, yo, you could have had a plethora of better guys, and you go with this fucking guy.
Excuse me.
Like, it was just,
Dude, he took Dawson Knox in the 13th round, who's a way better tight end than Gerald Everett.
he could have had him in the eighth round because he was still sitting there.
Yeah.
And then it's like, and you look if you look at his roster, he's got his running back situation is
Oh my
really,
God.
really, really bad.
We'll just run through his lineup for the sake of it right now. Patrick Mahomes at quarterback, Dalvin Cook Aaron Jones, Josh Jacobs, then Michael Pittman Jr., Terry McLaurin, DK Metcalf, Hunter Henry, Tyler Lockett, Washington defense, and Matt Gay, Gerald Everett, Tom Brady, Julio Jones, Dawson Knox, Green Bay defense, Minnesota defense, J.D. McKissick, Marlon Mack, who's a free agent, and Marcus Valdez Scantling. He's, I mean, I wouldn't touch DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett this year if someone paid me to.
No,
It
not
was,
at all.
just with Gino being there, it's like, no, I'm not touching that. Absolutely fucking not.
And if he gets hurt, it's going to be even worse.
Oh God. Yeah, because then if it's not Gino, it's fucking Drew Lock.
Yeah, and that Washington defense, really?
Yeah,
Like,
they
really?
had that 1 year where they went to the wild card. After that, they were fucking.
Not even that, but like, really?
Out of all the defense, I think he was the first person to pick a defense as well.
I think he was, yeah. And I'm like, I don't like really. You could have had the Rams, you could have had the Saints, you could have had the Niners, you could have had the Broncos, you could have had the Bengals.
You could have had pretty much damn near any
You had the pick of the
choice.
litter.
Yeah, the pick of the litter, and he chose the cat shit.
And then not for nothing, yeah, I'm a Vikings team, but you took the Vikings defense. It's like I wouldn't. I honestly, I'm not. I didn't want to touch anybody from that team this year with a 10-foot pole. I mean, not saying that they'd be bad, but it's like,
Washington.
no, Minnesota, not knowing how that defense is going to perform this year with a new
Yeah.
coach. I mean,
What's their scheme gonna be like? There's
yeah,
gonna be
everything's different. I mean, yeah, I took Alexander Madison, but that's because most likely Dalvin Cook is going to get hurt at some point.
Yeah, and I mean that's a good insurance policy, and he did. Alexander Madison played fairly well last year in that role in the time that he had that Dalvin Cook was out.
He did. I think he had like three 100-yard rushing games. He
Yeah.
did very well. So, but I just, for the life of me, it's like, I don't like.
All right, here we go. So last season, week 1 2 points, week 3 6 points. Dalvin Cook gets hurt. Hear this: 26 attempts, 112 yards, 50 points. Cleveland against Cleveland, 10 attempts, 20 yards, 12 points. Against Detroit, 25 attempts, 113 yards, 53 points. Then from week 5 to about 11, he didn't break 8 points. Then week 12 versus San Francisco, 21 yards, 1 touchdown, 17 points. Against Detroit, 90 yards, a touchdown, 43 points. Then against Pittsburgh, he had 8 points. Chicago, he didn't play. Then against the Rams, he had 41 yards, 1 touchdown, 28 points. So he is capable of producing big numbers if Dalvin gets hurt.
Yeah.
And the way that everything's going is just, I
It
guess,
just might be.
yeah, just the trend of Dalvin Cook, it's not good, health wise.
No.
And if he could stay healthy, we know Dalvin Cook is probably one of the best running backs in the league.
He is.
Next-
Last year I would have said he's the best. And I definitely did, but it's like the fact that this guy just can't stay healthy. Now coming in with a new scheme, I mean, I'm not saying he's not going to be used, but I mean, is he really going to be the focal point? Is this really going to be a rushing attack?
Yeah.
It's going to be a more passing attack. They're going to try to open the field more, and so it's a big question mark in my book.
Yeah. I mean, Damian Harris, I had him last year. His health was a little bit of a concern. Nothing too major. Let me just take a look at him again.
No, but I mean, if he stays healthy,
Danny.
I know they have what's his face Stevenson behind him.
Yeah, Raymondson or whatever his name is.
But I mean, if he stays healthy and he really takes hold of that number one spot, I mean, realistically, I don't see why he can't put up at least 800 or 900 yards. 4 or 5 touchdowns.
I mean, last season, see.
I can get like 13 or 14 points out of him every week.
We'll peep this, Danny. So he had 929 yards and 15 touchdowns for a total of 419 fantasy points last season. Okay, I'm pulling up his game log. Week 1, Miami, 100 yards, 36 points. Against the Jets, 62 yards, 1 touchdown, 29 points. His worst weeks were week 3 and 4, where he only put up 9 points against New Orleans and Tampa. Houston, 23 points. Dallas, 37 points. The Jets, 40 points. Chargers, 37 points. Carolina, 25 points. He didn't play in Cleveland. Atlanta, 16 points. Tennessee, 23 points. Buffalo, 34 points. Buffalo, he didn't play against Indy. Buffalo, again, 48 points. Jacksonville, 26 points. Miami, 27 points.
I'm not saying he's gonna replicate that, but I mean, if I can get anything close to that from him every week,
Yeah,
that's a fucking steal.
yeah. If he's able to,
As
if he's
as a
able to stay healthy and hold off Ramon Stevenson and become the feature back and the goal line back that he was last year, that's a great fucking pick.
Yep,
Because
as a third running back.
absolutely, like if you guys are drafting today or sometime this week, you should be looking at Damian Harris a little later in the rounds, not so early, right?
Yeah,
Because people are not really going to be keen to his eye, and everybody's always the way Bill Belichick has always done it is like a he splits the workload, right? But he's always been a run first, you know, I guess scheming coach. So we all know the Patriots are going to run the ball. It's just you got to find the one guy who's going to get all that work. Last year
right.
was Damian Harrison. Hopefully, it'll be the same for this year.
Even if I can get half of that from him every week, Nick Chubb and Joe Mixon, I'll take it.
419 points last year. If you can get anywhere over 325 from him, I think he won on that pick.
Yeah, definitely.
Dalton Schultz, he's going to have a good year. Uh, Jerry Judy, week one going against Seattle. I think they're going to be bracketing Cortland Sutton more or less than not. So I think Jerry's going to have a good game that Monday night.
He could, yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, Hunter Renfro, he last 2 years he's been lighting it up with Derek Carr. So
You know who he reminds me of? And this is no
what?
no disrespect to him. He reminds me of Cooper Cup. The
Who
way
does?
the way they run their routes, and they're kind of like Cup's a little bit bigger than Renfro, but Renfro and them they play like the same style.
I mean, Harrison Butker is another good pick. I mean, you know, it's it's all about how that offense is going to move. I mean, and I, for the most part, think that, with Juju and Travis Kelsey and Clyde's Olaire, whatever his name is, I think that they're not going to have any problem moving that offense downfield and giving Butker plenty of opportunities to kick field goals.
And remember last year for I think about the first 8 weeks they did have problems, right, in their offense, right? Because they said it was like Pat was just taking it a little too fast. So after those first 8 weeks, they had to slow him down, and once they slowed him down, everything changed. So those
Yeah,
first 8 weeks, Harrison Buckner got a lot of work.
right.
Then it kind of like cooled down, but still, you know, it's
Still
hard.
got a high volume.
It's very hard with kickers because it's like, do you want the guy that's kicking the 30, 40-yard field goal 4 or 5 times a game, or do you want the guy that's kicking regular field goals 4 or 5 times a game?
I mean, at the end of the day, if I can get 10 to 12 points from my kicker, I'm cool with that.
That's all you're really looking for getting out of your kicker. You know, uh, everybody, I would stay away from Mason Crosby. That's just my one tidbit of advice. He couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat last year.
This is a different year, though. And he's always been a solid, reliable kicker, so
Yeah, but we always see these guys that are solid and reliable, and then towards the end of their career, they can't make basic kicks. He definitely cost Green Bay at least 1 or 2 games last season by
yeah,
missing kicks. So I wonder how long he's going to be around.
right.
All right, so you want to just jump into the stardom and situms?
Sure.
All right, you want to start with the quarterbacks, and then I'll tell you my stardom and situm after that. So we'll go quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, defense, kicker.
So for quarterbacks this week, stardom, Justin Herbert, Ryan Tannehill, and Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan away against Houston, Tannehill home against the Giants, and Herbert home against the Raiders. You know, Herbert obviously a no-brainer, but Tannehill and Matt Ryan for you guys out there that have already drafted and have taken quarterbacks later on in the rounds because you built your team in the earlier rounds. guys like Matt Ryan and Ryan Tannehill going up against two of the worst teams in the league, honestly, are should be a no-brainer. It- it- I mean,
For me, like I'm not hating on it. I just Tannehill's not who he was.
no, but going up against the Giants at home, week one,
Yeah, I know. Like I said, I get it. I would feel more comfortable if they still had AJ Brown. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But
but
I can see why it's against the Giants. If it was against anybody else, maybe like let's say,
Arizona or something like that.
yeah, I would be like, nah, you gotta sit. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But Matt Ryan, I love it. They're playing
Yeah.
Houston week one. That's a gimme right there. So if you got Matt Ryan, and guys, say you guys have let's say you have Josh Allen, right? But that Thursday night game, that's a rough matchup.
It
If no
is.
one has Matt and you have a player that you could drop, pick up Matt. Start Matt.
Or if you have a second defense that you can drop for this week to pick them up and just slide them in,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah,
just drop them again the week after.
yeah,
It's
yeah. I 100% agree. I have Matt on my starting too. I have Lamar and Russ.
okay.
I think you can't if you got Russell Wilson, you can't pass up on that. I know Pete Carroll always has a solid defense, but they're young, and Russ is definitely going for blood.
And not even that, but Russ is ready to go. I really feel like Russ is ready to take that team all the way, and I feel like Denver is going to be one of those teams where they're going to be a force to be reckoned with for sure.
Yeah. So who are your situms?
Kyler Murray home against the Chiefs.
Yeah,
Trey
this is
Lance, huh?
I'm like agreeing with you. Like, yeah, that's not good. That's not good at all.
Um, Trey Lance on the road against Chicago, and Tua at home against New England.
Yeah,
Trey Lance because this is his this is his first full season,
yeah.
and
First
even if he
game.
is going to be the future, I don't. If I have somebody else better, even if it's a little bit of a tougher matchup, I feel better going with that matchup as opposed to, you know, getting off started week one with this rookie quarterback, not knowing with how they're going to gel, how things are going to go. It's just too many things that can go wrong, not enough that can go the right way.
I
And
mean,
Tua, look,
go ahead.
I'm an advocate for Miami to have a good year this year, but week one at home against New England, I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
I think that Bill Belichick defense is going to be ready for that. Even if I mean, New England historically doesn't play well in Miami,
no, but
but I think it's
it's
it.
Bill Belichick,
Yeah, it's
so
Bill Belichick, and there's going to be times, not times. There's going to be time for Tua and that team to adjust and get acclimated to each other in a
yeah,
live, setting. It's not preseason or practice.
right.
All right, so my situms, Derek Carr. I like Derek Carr. He's definitely top 15 every year in fantasy points. I just going against that new Chargers defense, even with
Yeah,
Devontae Adams, like I just said before, it takes times for people to get acclimated to each
it,
other.
it does.
So that's why I would shy away. Justin Fields as well. He's going against San Francisco. San Francisco always has a tough defense.
Yeah,
Uh, on the contrary to you having saying, start Ryan Tannehill, I just have him as a sit-em. It's just like I said, if AJ Brown was there, he wouldn't even be on my sit-em list. He would be somewhere in there. Well, if you want to play him, you could play him.
yeah,
And to the Trey Lance point is also as well as I don't know if I could trust you yet. I need to
yeah.
see. I need to see 4 weeks, of
At least,
of some production. Then it's like okay, I could fit you in for matchups here and there. But until then, It's like I gotta stay away from you.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Especially in a fantasy league that you're paying money for. I mean, if you're not paying money for it, I mean, whatever.
Yeah, balls to the walls. Throw the fucking spaghetti at it.
Yeah, see what happens. But
Yeah.
if you're spending money on this and you're trying to win money at the end of the year, I get it's not always how you start, but how you finish. But also a good start too is definitely important. And
Yes.
there's just not enough to go by for me to start and be like, yeah, no, definitely against Chicago. And honestly, Chicago always fares better at home than they do on the road.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Yeah. Well, I mean, they are home. Uh. All right. So we'll jump into the running backs. I'll lead this one off. I think these three are no brainers, guys. Jonathan Taylor going against Houston, big year last year. He's gonna start the year off right. Derrick Henry, I think he's going to be poised to prove himself again that he's the best back in the league. From
Yeah,
being hurt last year, and playing against the Giants.
that's
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a layup right there.
I can foresee 200 yards on the ground.
Somewhere close. It's going to be a monster fucking week for him. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that's going to start off the Giants right where they always start off for the past 5 years. What in the fuck was that? All right, and then the third pick, barring if he forgets to bring his crutches or not, Christian McCaffrey.
Really.
Yeah, I just think Christian McCaffrey. By week 4, we'll see what we always see. Oh, my ankle, oh, my knee. So ride that first 4 weeks as hard as you fucking can.
Hmm.
Let me see who they're playing. They're playing Cleveland.
Yeah, at home.
So at home with a pissed off Baker Mayfield.
I mean, I see where you're going with it, but
I mean, that's why there's no way nobody has these three backs on the same team. Because if you do, you better thank the Lord above that you had a bunch of idiots around you that and had no idea how to fucking draft that you ended up with those three.
yeah.
All right. For Siddums, I had Brees Hall, the running back from the Jets, rookie. Michael Carter's job for right now. So I would shy away from that. And who are they playing? The
I think
Jets.
they're playing the
They're
Eagles,
playing the Ravens.
Ravens, right,
Yeah.
right.
So the Ravens always have a good stout defense. So I would stay away from the running game of the Jets.
And they're healthier now, going into this year, obviously.
Yeah.
So,
Josh Jacobs, just because they're playing the Chargers. You know what I mean? I'd stay away. Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and then Cam Akers. Last year was hurt. It's Austin Eckler's job. You don't know if they're going to have him on a pitch count, essentially, or what's the touches going to be like. But I think it's definitely going to favor Austin Eckler over Cam.
And honestly, that Chargers offense is going to be more pass heavy. I mean, you got Justin Herbert, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen. It's just
Yeah. It's Chargers wide receiver.
so. My stardoms were Jonathan Taylor, Henry. I agree. Those two. And you could for my third one, you could have essentially not picked anybody else, but you could have definitely went with some other guys. But I feel like Javonte Williams on the road Monday night in Seattle is definitely like because what I tried to do was with my third pick for at least the stardoms, I tried to go with like maybe a sleeper guy
Mm-hmm.
or a guy kind of coming under the radar a little bit. And I feel like that guy for this week is definitely Javonte Williams.
I mean, barring his injury and what they're doing with Melvin Gordon,
Yeah.
because Melvin Gordon stole quite a bit of points away from Javante last year. I don't think it's going to be the same thing as this year.
Yeah, Melvin's getting older and his health isn't always a question.
Yeah. So to me, it's like, yeah, I'm with that. That's definitely a good starter. It's just, is Melvin Gordon going to be the fucking touchdown back?
Yeah.
The red zone back. That puts a thorn in your side because Javante Williams can have 50 yards going this drive and then he's out and then fucking here comes Melvin Gordon. Oh, two steps, touchdown, 6. So you're left
Yeah.
at 5 points and he's got 6. So it's like it could work against you, but I like that pick, especially going
Yeah.
against Seattle. And I think I 100% agree. I think that the Denver Broncos are going to try to establish their ground game first, and then
Definitely.
let Russ let it fly.
Yeah. My situms, number one, Christian McCaffrey. At home against Cleveland, granted you're home, but Cleveland's got a good defense,
Yeah,
and I just his health is always an issue. Not saying he's going to get hurt week one, but over the last couple of years, it's just this being my first year in first time in years playing fantasy, I definitely just would not feel comfortable starting him this week. I mean, if depending on how you've drafted, if he's literally your best running back, obviously you can't afford to sit him,
yeah.
but I would definitely sit McCaffrey. Number two, Dalvin Cook
Going
at
against
home
Green Bay.
against Green Bay.
And Green Bay's defense is really good.
And, it's like, and yeah, they're home, but I don't know. I just
If
don't.
if they were home in their old stadium that was outside, I would maybe lean towards starting him.
Yeah, but just either way, my just I don't know. My gut feeling tells me that looking at that's like I don't know about that. I just and number three, James Cook at home against Kansas City. I wouldn't even touch that
Hmm.
because the way Kansas City finished last year and making it to that playoff game and that that was what, the divisional round or the championship game.
I think that was divisional. Yeah, because
You
then
know,
it was Kansas City. No, that was the divisional. Because then Kansas City played uh the
right, the
Bengals
Bengals.
to
Yeah.
get to the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Yeah,
And the way the Chiefs finished off last year, like you said, they slowed down the offense. The offense got better, and that defense started to pick it up as the weeks went on.
yeah.
Against James Cook and the Cardinals at on the
Oh, you
road.
mean James Conner?
Yeah, James Conner. That's just that.
Yeah,
Because I was hearing so much about James Conner coming into the draft, and I was hearing so many other channels and stuff on YouTube, bigging up James Conner. It's like, really? Like,
well,
eh,
I'm gonna pull up his stats from last year. 451 points. He had 752 yards, 15 touchdowns. The touchdown production is really good.
yeah, I don't think it's going to be the same this year.
I think it's gonna be even better. I agree with not starting him this week going against the Chiefs. I get that, but there's no Chase Edmonds there anymore. It's just him and probably a rookie. So, I mean, they're projecting him to go 20 more points than last year. I could
Yeah,
see
but
that.
doesn't James Conner, from what I can remember, doesn't he always seem to get banged up a little bit too?
Yeah, but I mean, last year he still
Honestly, I
played.
don't have no faith in Kyler Murray, so
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, he didn't play 2 weeks last year. Week 16, week 17. But that's most leagues. That's pretty much championship time, or the league is over.
yeah.
So to get, let's see, minus the 42, to get 400 points essentially in 15 weeks, that's not bad.
No.
But I agree with you 100%. Not this week.
There's other guys obviously you could put on the sit list, and there's obviously other guys that I'd rather start over him.
Yeah.
Like just
Yeah, I would say I'd be comfortable, more comfortable with starting DeAndre Swift.
yeah, absolutely.
You know.
Or Damian Pierce, for the Texans. Granted, that Texans team is going to be the worst team in the league, but he's supposed to be the number one down back. I would just going up against the Colts. Granted, they were good last year.
They got a good defense.
I'd still feel more comfortable doing that, or someone like a Damian Harris.
Yeah.
There's just you
No, I
know
get you.
Chase Edmonds. At home going against New England, you can definitely start him.
Yeah. No, I
So
agree.
even Alvin Kamara, that's another guy you can start.
Yeah.
He's not going to be suspended anytime soon. So
Yeah. All right, let's hit me with your stardom wide receivers.
Juju Smith-Schuster on the road
Juju.
on the road against Arizona. I feel like we've talked about before. What's this offense really going to look like without Tyreek Hill, and knowing that Travis Kelce is going to get a lot more of the
Touches.
touches. But if Juju stays healthy, I think him and Mahomes, that's gonna be a good duo. I
Yeah,
really
it's
do.
not going to be such of like spreading the field of like 50-yard, 60-yard bombs.
No, but he's I think he's definitely poised to have 1,000 yard season, at least 10 touchdowns. And don't they also have Valdez Scantling too, right?
Yeah, Marquez Valdez
So I,
Scantling.
I I still feel like that offense is still going to be formidable enough, and I think Juju's definitely going to be someone I would look at. I mean, there's obviously other guys. Like I said, I wanted to try to see if I can get like a sleeper under the radar pick in there a little bit if I could. So on the road against Arizona, yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
and Arizona doesn't have the same defense as they did last season. They
Or
let it go of a lot of guys.
yeah,
I mean, yeah, you have J.J. Watt still there, but J.J. Watt's not who he used to be.
no,
You know, his brother is that guy now.
Yeah, his brother's that guy. Where his brother's the guy that could potentially be the all-time sack leader by the time his career is over if he stays healthy.
Yeah, like we went over in the previous weeks, which we honestly I think it can be done from him.
Yeah. Number two, Jamar Chase at home against Buffalo. Against Pittsburgh, and then Cooper Cup Thursday night at home against Buffalo.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously, if you have those guys, you're not going to sit them.
nah,
I mean, the Buffalo matchup is a little bit different for Cooper Cup because Buffalo is a more formidable defense than Pittsburgh.
yeah,
I mean, it's still fucking Cooper Cup. Come on now.
exactly. I mean, if it was like if you had Allen Robinson, then it's like, all right, I may consider sitting him or flexing him.
Yeah,
Right, but Cooper Cup led the league in yardage and fucking touchdowns last year. I'm not saying he can't do it again. It's hard, but he's gonna get his touches.
yeah. My Siddums, Tyreek Hill at home against New England. Number one, Bill Belichick defense, and number two, it's it. I
It's
need a
week
few
one.
weeks to see how these two are really going to gel and
Yeah,
how these two are going to play.
I mean, I don't want to set anybody up for failure here, as in like put him in. See, let it ride because you don't want it to backfire on you and say week one he has like 250-yard bombs, right?
Yeah,
But if you can, see how he does his week one on your bench, right?
but
Against New England,
yeah,
right? Now if he has those 250-yard bombs and you lose, all right, now you know. It's week one. You know what I mean? It's okay to lose in week one,
yeah. But you
right?
have to be smart. You have to play matchups, and I get it. You draft Tyreek Hill probably within the first 3 rounds, but at the same time, it's like I said, you have to be smart. You have to look at the matchups, and
Hmm.
you really have to look at all right, Tyreek Hill, Tua, first time playing together at home, going up against New England, a Bill Belichick defense.
I get you. It makes sense. It makes sense, especially if you have other options to start,
Yeah,
then do it. So, all right. So, I guess basically what we're saying is if you can afford to sit him and see what he does,
sit him.
go right ahead. If you
If you
can't
can't,
afford to, then let
don't.
it ride. You
Yeah,
know, you're gonna get like how that saying, the proof's in the pudding. You're gonna see the pudding week one,
right.
right?
My number two, Devontae Adams on the road against the Chargers, and it's the same thing that I just said with Tyreek. Granted, Carr is way more developed,
Yeah.
and that Raiders team is a lot better than Miami, but this is the first time that these two are going to be playing together.
Hmm.
And like you said, he's going to get doubled a lot more. We don't know how they're going to gel right out of the gate.
Yeah.
And he's got Hunter Renfro as a safety net.
And Darren Waller as another backup
So
plan.
it's just like with Tyreek, if you can afford to sit him, sit him. If you can't, start him. It's you just got to see how it plays out.
Yeah.
And then number three, Amari Cooper on the road against Carolina.
Yeah. If it was Deshaun Watson,
I would say definitely start him.
yeah. But Jacoby Brissett, 11 weeks, I'd shy away
Yeah.
just for now. You know what I mean?
Even even in a matchup if they were going up against Jacksonville or Houston, I would still honestly want to shy away from it
Yeah.
because even in a matchup like that, how much are you really going to get out of Amari? 5 receptions, 70 yards, maybe one touchdown,
That's about 18 points.
which is not bad. Obviously, you don't want to see points, sitting on the bench not doing anything for you, but
Yeah. But if
it's
it's
just
like in comparison to Cooper Cup, 5 catches, 70 yards, 2 touchdowns, 12, 17. That's about 23, 24 points.
that's big, you know. But
Oh, and also, gentlemen and ladies, if it's PPR, you're more or less going to try to go with the guys who are the stars. They're going to have the targets and the touches. Now, if it's
you
just a
got yeah,
standard league, then you're not really, inclined to play a player who's going to touch the ball a lot,
right.
right? All right, so my stardoms as, Cooper Cup, number one. Number two, Justin Jefferson. I think this guy's just too good not to start. You have to start him.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And look at what he did last year, and he's projected to blow out those last year projections, right?
He was only like 20 some odd yards away, I think, from breaking a record.
Yeah.
And
Um.
Zimmer decided to run the ball and not throw it to him. Fuck cocksucker.
My third stardom is Stephon Diggs. Granted, we get it. We've been talking about matchups, but Stephon Diggs has almost a touchdown every fucking game.
Not even that, but him and Josh Allen have a
Yeah, their connection is solid.
yeah.
Give me 1 second here. Oh, trying to figure out. Yep. So last year, 103 receptions. He was targeted 164 times. He had 1,225 yards with 10 touchdowns, 283 fantasy points total. Only 2 weeks was he below 10 points. Week 13 against New England and week 5 against Kansas City.
Okay.
But he's gonna get the ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, like you drafted Jamison Crowder. You don't start Jamison Crowder this game.
No, definitely
You know
not.
what I mean? This is a game. It's all right. I'm starting Stephon Diggs.
I mean, if you have him, but I mean, like, as a flex, like, so Hunter Renfrow going up against the Chargers, Buffalo going up against LA. If it's Buffalo going up against Miami, or
Houston.
oh, that's I don't want to make it
That drastic.
yeah, if they're going up against like Arizona
Jacksonville.
or Pittsburgh or something like that.
Okay.
I would definitely look to want to definitely try to get Crowder in there as a flex. Especially if the Raiders are going up against, New England or,
The Jets.
yeah.
Or the Commanders or the Giants.
So it's just.
Well, time is your friend here. So time is gonna tell you throughout the 4 weeks with Jamison Crowder and a player like that what his production is gonna be.
Yeah, especially with Gabriel Davis too.
Exactly. So it's either Gabriel's gonna get all those touches and targets, and Jamison Crowder's gonna get a few, or it's gonna be the reverse. Because we all know that Diggs is gonna get his targets and catches.
Yeah. But I mean, you brought the veteran in for a reason.
Yeah. For an insurance policy, have some veteranship and some leadership and depth. And he can still ball.
Yeah.
Alrighty. All right, now my situms. It's pretty easy here. Rashad Bateman. The Jets just added Sauce Gardner. We're going to see how good he is. I mean, we really haven't heard anybody. I don't even know who the fuck Rashad Bateman is. So until he can prove to me who the fuck Rashad Bateman is, you're sitting, dog. And
Absolutely.
Lamar only throws to one guy, Mark Andrews. Number 2, Elijah Moore from the Jets. Until what's his name, Zach comes back, Zach Wilson comes back, I would err on the side of caution.
I'd be more in line to start Garrett Wilson than fucking Elijah Moore.
Yeah. And Tyler Lockett.
Oh, definitely.
They have, Tyler Lockett, great wide receiver.
Yes.
When Russ was there, he would put up points. But they have Patrick Surtain in Denver, who's going to be guarding Tyler Lockett.
100%.
Yeah, so I would avoid them.
And plus their quarterback situation.
Exactly. Like we said before, I wouldn't touch in Seattle with a 10-foot pole this season. You couldn't pay me to.
I agree.
All right, so I'll jump right into the stardom tight ends.
All right.
This is very simple, guys. Mark Andrews, you start him every week until it's a bye. You know what I mean?
Right.
Travis Kelce, you start him every week until it's a bye. My third here is second year, it's either we're going to see a slump or he's going to boom. Kyle Pitts. Right? So
Okay.
I think it's appropriate to start Kyle Pitts this week. Atlanta is playing.
I think they're
Saints.
Yeah.
So we're gonna see. I mean, the Saints usually have a solid defense, but no. What's his face? No Sean Payton this year.
Yep.
It's gonna be different.
Yeah.
All right, and my situms, Dawson Knox this week. Buffalo going against the Chargers.
Yeah.
Cole Kmet going against the 49ers. And then Hunter Henry. Now, with Jonnu Smith there, that kind of like leave some like some questions behind. Is Hunter Henry going to be the number one tight end, or is he going to be just that filler guy?
Or is he going to be really in there for more of a run block for the for the Russian attack?
Yeah. So I mean, like I said, err on the side of caution with them until you know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
But I do think, and just be honest with you, I think that's John Smith's job as the number one tight end. All right, Danny, what's your stardom and sit tight ends?
Me, I mean, I didn't go with Mark Andrews. Obviously, I agree. You want to start guys like that until their bye week or until they get hurt or whatever. But, I like how you did with Hunter Henry.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to, go based, and I'm also like, just trying to find like that third sleeper guy, like, for
Mm-hmm.
for other people that are going to listen to, be more aware of players like this. I think number one, Mo Alley Cox. Yeah, that's a fun.
That's a fucking name. He had a decent year last year, even with Carson Wentz.
And now
So,
he's got Matt
so
Ryan
that's gonna be a step up in the right direction for him.
going up against Houston week one. I think.
Yeah, that's a great. Guys, pay attention. Danny's spitting some sauce right now. That's a great fucking stardom right there.
Yeah. George Kittle and Travis Kelsey, obvious starts.
Yeah,
So I mean, I granted Trey Lance for the Niners, but I mean, until he really gets himself acclimated and really gets himself rolling with that offense, George Kittle's as long as he's healthy, George Kittle's going to be his safety blanket,
yeah, I 100% agree with you there.
especially in the red zone.
Mm-hmm.
If
Especially
they,
in the red zone or on like little third and fives, he's gonna be looking at Kittle's way because Kittle
yeah,
is a matchup problem for a lot of linebackers.
yep,
His health is a concern, but if he stays healthy, he's a solid top five tight end in the league.
yeah, definitely. So my situms, Tyler Higbee, obviously. Now, for me, like, because I have him on my roster, I'm starting him because I was eyeballing him going into my draft. But, you know, so I have Tyler Higbee and I have the next guy after him, Dalton Schultz, at home against the Tampa Bay defense. They have really good linebackers.
Yeah, they're young. They got a really good linebacking core.
So, and then number three, Mike Gesicki.
Kiseki.
I understand, you've spoken about him having a good year and, him potentially being like one of those sleeper guys or whatever. But until we really see how this offense is going to gel, like, how is this team going to come out and play? Are they going to come out and play like they did in the first half last year? Or are they going to come out and play like they finished off the year?
Yeah.
And they also don't have Brian Flores anymore. And you're home against New England. I don't know.
I mean, like I said before, history does show Miami does play fairly well against New England at home, but this is new coach, new players, new system.
I
Now,
need to see a couple weeks first.
yeah, and all right, in my situation, I have Robert Tanya and Mike Gesicki. I'm starting Robert Tanya, depending on my matchups, more than not.
Yeah.
Because before last year he got hurt, the year prior to that, Tanya was on fire.
He was a big target for Aaron.
Exactly, and now with Devontae Adams not being there, I think he's going to be even a bigger target.
Yeah.
But I 100% agree with you. Give it a week or two, or just see what the matchup is like for Miami.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me take a look what their schedule is like. Give me the fucking schedule, you cocks.
With the Dolphins.
Yeah, cocksuckers, they won't give it to me. Let's see. Sorry, guys.
So they got New England week one. Then they got the Ravens week two. They're in Baltimore. Then they're at home against Buffalo. Then they're on the road against the Bengals and the Jets. Then they're at home against the Vikings.
So I would say by week 5, you'll know what kind of player Gasecki's going to be for you this year.
Yeah, because those are some tough matchups.
Exactly.
Baltimore, Buffalo, Cincinnati. I mean, the easiest one right there so far is that Jets matchup.
Yeah.
What was that? Well, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, week 5.
Yeah.
So,
Hmm.
you know, just do your due diligence. Just, like DJ said, try not to pay attention to the projections too much, and
Yeah.
read when you click on the guy, read the little thing at the bottom that that it says about the guy, and
And the matchup and the
and just
synopsis.
really sit there and think about it and take the time and be like, is this really gonna happen? Like it just
And to be clear, guys, by week 4, you're gonna have all your answers to your lineup. And
yes,
it's not even just to your lineup. You're gonna have your answers to who everybody else is as a team whole. So if you have like let's just say Antonio Gibson, right, and they're playing the Chargers, right? By week 4, you're gonna know. All right, I can't start anybody against the Chargers. Like in 4 weeks, they just it's a hypothesis, not even a hypothesis, guesstimate or whatever. Say the Chargers don't allow a 100-yard rusher in 4 games. Do you
and
want
then
to do you want to gamble that your guy's gonna be the guy to do that?
right,
No, follow the trends, guys.
and especially if that guy is Antonio Gibson on a Commanders offense that's gonna,
More than likely,
my
run the
opinion,
ball.
they're gonna have a hard time moving the ball.
All right, so give me your stardom and synonyms for the defense.
Um, so number one, Saints on the road against Atlanta, the
Yeah,
Titans at home against the Giants, and the Colts on the road against Houston.
yeah,
My situm, Cowboys at home against the Bucks, even though they're home, that's Tom Brady and the Buccaneers.
yeah.
Um, number two, the Vikings at home against Green Bay. We've seen how that team played last year, and with a new coaching scheme and everything, new defensive coordinator. For the guy, for the players, for the people that do take that Vikings defense, because for the most part, they've always been a pretty good fantasy
I'd say top
defense.
15.
So, but this year's, I think you got to give it a couple weeks and see how things play out.
Yeah.
And then, honestly, the Dolphins at home against New England. I mean, that Dolphins defense, what's it going to be? Is it going to be the first 8 weeks from last year or the
The
second
last
half of the
yeah,
year? And no Brian Flores again, so
yeah.
it's iffy. If it was Brian Flores, I would definitely be one. That would be a stardom for me because I would love to see what that defense with Brian Flores another year ready to go could do. But unfortunately,
I mean that was probably the stupidest thing Miami could have done. I don't want to like fishtail off of what we're
yeah,
talking about, but to Danny's point, it's like you don't know. With Brian Flores, you kind of know what you're getting,
yep,
right? All right, so my stardoms for the defense is number one, 100% the Ravens. Zach Wilson's not going to play week 1. You don't know who's going to start. If it's Joey Flacco, oh my God, or if it's Mike White. I just think now the Ravens defense is healthy this year, same coaching staff, they all know the scheme. I think they're going to get after it.
it should be a problem. Yeah,
Uh, the 49ers going against Chicago. Barring if Justin Fields actually explodes and there's no sophomore slump, I foresee the 49ers winning that game fairly easily and getting you good, solid fantasy points.
absolutely.
And then number 3, if you have them, you have to start them. It's the Denver Broncos. They're going against Geno Smith. No disrespect to him. He looked okay last year sometime at some points, but good Lord, I would definitely 100% start the Broncos going
There's
against
a
the
reason.
Seahawks.
There's a reason why he's never been a starter in this league.
Yeah. Well, no, he was a starter at one time
Yeah,
with the
and
New York
honestly,
Jets.
in the very beginning, yeah, and at that point, I felt like the Jets definitely did him wrong, and they didn't really give him the true opportunity to really try to take off.
Well, that's because
But then
Rex
he,
was under fire. He was on his way out, so he was trying to do anything he could to save his job.
but then he also got drafted to the Jets. If he had gotten drafted to a different team, maybe we'd be talking a little bit differently about him. But it is what it is at this point.
Yeah, until Geno could prove, I guess, because I was a Geno supporter. So unless he could prove me otherwise that he's gonna be in the conversation for top 20 quarterback, top 25, I'm starting. I would purposely, literally, this is one of my strategies. I drop a defense every week and pick up a defense that's playing him because if they look like shit, like I did last year, anybody that played the Jets, I started the defense against them.
The Jets, the Jaguars, the Texans, the Giants,
Yeah,
just
that's last year, but you'll find it this year. The
I
outliers.
suspect that those teams are still going to be at the bottom of the league.
Uh, I think the Jaguars are gonna have a decent year.
I'd like to see that happen. I mean, I'd like to see Trevor Lawrence finally, light it up and show everybody what he can do. But we have to see how it goes.
All right, I'm going to start it off for the kickers. Stardom's Justin Tucker. They're playing the Jets, like I said. Evan McPherson. Bengals, they're playing Pittsburgh. We don't know. I mean, I love Tomlin. Tomlin's a great coach. His teams are always very well coached.
Very.
So I see there's going to be a lot of opportunities for Evan McPherson to get more points with kicking field goals rather than extra points. And then Ryan Suckup, Tennessee, going against New York Giants. So even if the Giants look better, new coach and everything, they don't have A.J. Brown. Depending on how the rookie's going to fare, I like Ryan Suckup at the start of this year to start it off if you have him. Now my sit-ems, Jason Myers, Cairo Santos, and Joey Sly. You got to slide.
All right, so my stardoms. I mean, look, obviously Justin Tucker is the greatest kicker in football right now, but and obviously if you have him, why would you sit him? But me, like I said before, when it came to the defenses and everything else, I was really also trying to go matchup based as well. I think number one, Ryan Suckup at home against the Giants. I think the Titans are going to roll all over the Giants. I think Tannehill's going to throw for 250 and at least a touchdown or two. Henry's going to have over 100. Yeah, dude. That Giants team is. I just that they're not there yet. They're on
on the way.
They're on the road towards looking better, but they're not there yet. Harrison Bucker on the road against Arizona.
Yeah.
And
oh shit.
This one is probably going to be a little out there, but like I said, I'm trying to go matchup based as well. Rodrigo Blankenship against Houston.
Yeah.
That Colts offense with Matt Ryan.
And they already know their identity. The Colts teams run the ball.
Jonathan Taylor, Mo Alley Cox. I think they're not gonna have any problem moving the ball, especially going up against Houston. Definitely. My sit-em, number one, Daniel Carlson. Granted, from what I've seen, he's always been a fairly good kicker. But week one on the road against the Chargers, I think the Chargers are going to shut down the Raiders this week. And number two, Greg Zuerlein at home against the Bucks. I don't know what Cowboys team is going to show up this year. I can't really trust anybody from that team.
I can tell you how this year is going to go. A shit ton of penalties. A weak line. With a coordinator that doesn't know what the fuck he's doing.
So if you can't move the ball and you have a weak line,
The only thing that's going to keep us in competition this year is our defense. That's it. That's the way the Cowboys move. It's either we're great on one side of the ball and we suck on the other. Good on one side, suck on the other.
Your defense is if that's the case, then your defense is gonna be tired and worn out by week 5 or 6.
Maybe.
And then Robbie Gould on the road against Chicago. Look, we don't know what we're gonna get from Trey Lance. Granted, he's supposed to be the future for the Niners, but not knowing how the offense is going to look, not knowing if he's really going to be able to move the ball down the field, and I would stay clear away from him.
Like we said, until you get some proof of the pudding, stay away. And I was just before. Usually when I draft, I'm a Cowboys fan. I'll go with 2, maybe 3 Cowboys. I only took 2 Cowboys this year. I took a gamble on Kayvon Turpin for my flex, right? And I not a gamble. I wanted Tony Pollard because if Zeke gets hurt, it's all the touches for him.
Absolutely.
And I know that the Cowboys are going to lean more towards running the ball this year. They want to get back to that old school Cowboy football with Tony Romo, where it's you're handing the ball off 30 times a game and you're passing about 20, 25 times a game.
Yeah.
So that's why.
No, I agree, and yeah.
Now, I don't blame anybody if you took CeeDee Lamb. You know what I mean? But I just think, until Michael Gallup gets back, who's really going to compliment him?
Exactly, because he's going to get double coverage all day long.
But see, now this is where, like I said, I took a gamble on Kayvon Turpin. So he's riding that bench for the next 4 weeks. Now, if he's returning kicks at least once a week or every other week, and he's out there catching a touchdown because of his speed, then he's a possible flex.
Yeah, but I mean, if he's returning kicks and he's gaining yardage as a kick returner, and you have him as a flex, isn't that still going to give you points? Because he's,
I
how
don't.
does that
I
work?
don't think it. No, for our league, it's the defense gets that point.
Okay,
So he only gets the points for the touchdown
okay.
and
So,
him catching the ball or running the ball.
right,
So
okay.
I think that I'm not saying he is Debo, but I think if the Cowboys can use him correctly, we could have a player like Debo and Kayvon Turpin.
And with everything going on, that's why I liked what I saw from Dalton Schultz last year, and I'm like, going into this year, I see all the questions and issues you guys are having. I'm like, yo, Dak, get it to Dalton.
He's probably gonna his yeah, everything's gonna go up for him too. So all right, so I guess that'll segue us into
The
the
projections.
games, the pick'ems, the pick'ems, pick'ems,
What do
pick'ems,
you mean the
pick'ems,
Pickens?
pick'ems for the games. Our
Oh,
picks. Who's
I
gonna
said
win?
I said projections, but you whatever. You say you're calling it something a little different.
All right, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it threw me off. I'm like Pickums. I'm like, we just did the start. I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
Oh, yeah, no, that's stardom or sit him. We'll figure a name out for it. All right, so Thursday night, 8:30, Buffalo Bills at the Los Angeles Rams. Who you got?
Bills.
I took the Rams. I think them getting their rings that night in front of their crowd is gonna be really loud. I think they pull off that win. It's gonna be a good game. I hope it's like a little bit of a shootout.
Yeah, I feel like Buffalo's got a chip on their shoulder, especially after losing the way they did last year. They want to come out and start off hot. They want, and with that defense and the additions that they made,
Well, it's gonna be on full display.
yeah,
Uh, I'll probably be streaming that game, guys. Not the game, the game cast, but I'll be commentating it for you. Play by play action. All right, so now the Saints at the Falcons.
I got the Saints.
I do too. I am excited to see Marcus Mariota though.
Eh,
What the,
eh. He's done. Like he just like honestly, I really wanted him to take off in Tennessee. He showed signs of potential greatness in Tennessee, and it never happened. And that was years ago. And now we're at the point where
Yeah,
it's
but
like,
then he went to Oakland behind Carr for a while.
so. And now at this point, it's like, eh,
I mean, we may get a chance to see Desmond Ritter as well too,
yeah,
if Marcus Mariota can't stay healthy.
absolutely.
But for that week one game, yeah, even with what's his fucking name? Oh, shit. He's that white boy from the fucking New Orleans.
Oh, Taysom Hill.
Taysom Hill. I
Right.
think they can win that game even with Taysom Hill if Jameis Winston isn't ready for week one.
Absolutely.
All right, Browns at the Panthers.
I thought Steelers Bengals was next.
All right, we'll do that one. Steelers at the Bengals.
That was the order in which I wrote it down.
All right.
Steelers are on the road against Cincinnati. I took Cincinnati.
Yeah, I did too. I think they have a chip on their shoulder as well. They want to show the league that last year wasn't a fluke. They are who they are.
Right.
So yeah, I went with the Bengals as well. What's next?
Niners on the road against the Bears.
Yeah, I took the Niners. I
Me
just went with
too.
the safe bet. I mean, even getting a first look at Trey Lance. You know what I mean?
I think Lance will be better than Fields at the end of the day.
I think as a whole, the 49ers are a better team
Definitely.
than Chicago. That's why I would say 49ers are going to win, even if Trey Lance has a shitty game. I mean, they're going to be giving it to Debo a lot. They're running it, passing it to Ayuk, and they're going to try to make it easy for him.
Yeah.
They're not going to get too out of the They can't. They like honestly with rookies and stuff like that. They keep you like in a bubble. They want to protect you. You know what I mean? Because it's all about like your ego. They don't want like go out there and you throw 4 or 5 fucking picks, and then you just dog shit from then on.
Right.
All right, what's next?
Browns on the road against Carolina. I got the Browns.
I got the Panthers, man.
Really.
I think Baker's gonna stick it to him.
It's
I think Baker's gonna stick it to
possible.
him.
But I
I,
think that Browns team, as a defense and at least in their running game, way more formidable than Carolina.
well,
100%.
Carolina last year started off 4-0, right?
It's not happening this year.
It could. Baker's a better player than Sam Darnold.
Yeah, but I just
All right.
I don't see it. Uh, Eagles are on the road against the Lions.
Who you got?
I got the Eagles.
I'm sorry, honey.
You took the
I
Lions.
took the Lions.
Uh,
I think that's gonna be the big upset of week 1. And that's a home dog right there.
mm, you think that'd be the big? You think that'd be the upset of the week if that happened?
Yeah.
I think the upset of the week would be Seattle beating the Broncos Monday night.
Well, yeah, but let's work on reality.
No, but I'm just saying, like,
Yeah, that would be the fucking biggest fucking upset of the week. But I just
not just straight upsets. Yeah, Seattle beating Denver at home. That'd
yeah
be a big upset.
yeah.
So next we have the Ravens on the road against the Jets. I got the Ravens.
Yeah, I took the Ravens all day. I mean, just without having Zach Wilson, I
Even with Zach, I would still take the Ravens.
yeah, but even with Zach, yeah, but with Zach, I would give them a puncher's chance.
Yeah,
I
but
without him, I don't give them any chance. I know they've improved. Their lineup has gotten better all around, but I mean, I'm not a fan of Lamar Jackson like that, but that's a long game, bro.
yeah,
It's a lot of running. You know what I mean? It's not like playing against Tom Brady where it's like, all right, we're just trying to get to him. It's, you know, he he does Mike Vitt shit. So you know what I mean, he just that clock in his head goes off, and he's like, oh shit,
I'm out.
run. You know what I mean? And you're a lineman. You're like, fuck, no, no, please, Jesus, stop running.
So next we have New England on the road against Miami. I got New England.
I took the Fins, man. I think it's a different year for the Fins, man.
We'll see. I'm not ready
I think
go against
Tyreek
Philly.
Hill. I think Tyreek Hill's gonna have 2 catches for like 40 yards, right? Waddle's gonna have like 9 catches for like a buck something. New England. I think New England's gonna be so focused on trying to contain fucking Tyreek Hill that Waddle's just gonna be there and the little curl routes, slants, comebacks. Yeah,
Maybe.
I think the Fins upset. I think the Fins upset the Patriots, even though the Miami's are the underdog. I think I heard on the radio uh, this week some guy called into ESPN and he said, there's 10 underdogs that are home games that are home. That's a lot,
Yeah,
right?
that is. So next we have Jacksonville on the road against the Redskins. I
I
got
took
the
I took the
Jaguars.
Jaguars.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be rough for Carson Wentz.
I do too.
Yeah,
Next is the Colts on the road against the Texans. I took the
that's
Colts.
Colts all day,
Yeah,
barring some miracle that Houston comes out and is like, we're better.
yeah, right.
Alrighty.
Next we have the Raiders on the road against the Chargers. I took the Chargers.
I took the Chargers as well. I think just all the improvements that they made. I think they're better improvements than what the Raiders made. I
Yeah,
think that's going to be game of the week though.
yeah.
I
Prob-
think it's going to be like that game I texted you when my daughter was being born
oh, from last year when
from
they were
last year, and I
when
would
Justin Herbert came
yeah,
back, brought that team back, and
dude, one of the greatest games I've ever watched. Justin Herbert was like, yo, everybody get the fuck out of my way and catch the goddamn ball. And he was just zipping these fucking balls in there, bro. Like, he was throwing lasers out there. So I think it's going to be a game like that again. So hopefully not a possibility of a fucking tie again, though.
yeah, no. Next, we have Green Bay on the road against Minnesota. I got Minnesota. Fantasy or no fantasy?
You going with your team? I get it. You gonna stick to your guns. Oh shit! Who's in the chat? Ethan Steed, would you start Brees Hall or Tony Pollard? I would start Tony Pollard. Just being honest with you. I think Tony Pollard has more upside. We don't know what we're gonna get from Brees, and they still have Michael Carter. Now we know Ezekiel Elliott is gonna be the number one back, but Pollard's gonna get way more touches than Brees Hall is. And look at the matchup this week. I'm sorry, Tampa is not the same team. Yes, they have Tom Brady, but that's the offensive side of the ball. You're
No,
focusing on Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard's gonna get some touches. He's gonna get you more points than Brees Hall this week.
yeah, but look at the Cowboys' offensive line now. That Cowboy offensive line is
Yeah, but it's also they're gonna be using Tony Pollard in shotgun and putting him out to wide receiver.
yeah.
So there's more upside, I say, this week for Tony Pollard than there is for Brees Hall.
Mm,
Brees Hall's a rookie. Tony Pollard's been here for 3 or 4 years. For Christ's sakes, look at Tony Pollard's stats. He outshines Saquon Barkley, and he has almost like half the touches. So, you want the guy that's putting up Saquon Barkley numbers, even though he can't find his crutches, or do you want the guy that just came in and you really don't know what he's gonna do?
yeah.
So I would sit on that for this week. I mean, and then who do the Jets play next week?
Um,
I got it. They play the Browns. So now you're gonna shelf Brees Hall this week, right? Look at his production, and I actually mean just don't look at his fantasy points. Look at the targets. Look at the touches. Look at how many snaps he's getting. If you're watching the game, they'll tell you how many snaps he has.
and you'll know how many he's getting because you're gonna see him out there.
Mm-hmm. If you're on ESPN, they usually do a boom or a bust, right? So it'll say the percentages that he'll boom. I just like me and Danny have been advocating. Be smart, do your due diligence. If you're gonna gamble, be prepared to. All gambles don't pay off, guys.
No,
Right? I like going with the guys that are already proven to an extent than a guy that's coming in as a rookie. Yes, we see things happen where guys blow up, but it's usually not week one they blow up.
yeah,
And going against a Ravens team that's finally healthy defensively, and they're always a tough defensive team. Next week's against the Browns, like I said, look at the snaps, look at the percentages he's playing in the game, and then make your decision. All right, what game's next, Danny?
next we have the Chiefs on the road against the Cardinals.
Chiefs. I'm taking the
I
Chiefs.
got the Chiefs.
No DeAndre Hopkins for 6 weeks. No Christian Kirk anymore. I think that's going to be a rough game for Kyler.
I think it's gonna be a rough year for them all around.
Yeah, yeah, and then
Uh,
well, that's a congratulations. You played yourself, Arizona.
yeah.
Yeah.
Next is the Sunday night game. Bucks on the road against the Cowboys.
Wait, did we do Tennessee versus the Giants?
Oh wait, no, I skipped over that.
Yeah.
Giants are on the road against the Titans. I took the Titans.
Yeah, I took the Titans. I think the Titans are just overall a better team.
Yeah,
And when you got big boy Derrick Henry back there, I mean that makes it just so much more easier.
100%.
And that is a big pain in the balls to deal with if you're a fucking defense. Remember how like I said before with Lamar, like just stop running. It's like stop hitting me. You know what I mean? Alrighty, so then the Sunday night game, right?
Yeah,
Tampa at Dallas.
obviously I think the Cowboys are gonna have their issues this year, but I've always been I don't know, kind of a fan of the Cowboys. You know what I mean? But and obviously not a fan of Tom Brady. So and the Cowboys are home, so I'm definitely looking for the Cowboys to win that game at home.
Yeah. I think because we're at home, I think that's why we have the edge. I think it's going to be a shootout like it was last year. Um, I'm looking forward to that game. Like, if we lose, I wouldn't be upset. It's just depending on the way that if we do, like the way that I think we're gonna lose.
Right.
If it's penalty ridden and it's just a bunch of bullshit, you know what I mean? Then I'll be upset. But if it's a shootout and we lose by a field goal, I'll probably be a little happy with the performance. But you know, there's always things to clean up.
Yeah.
Alrighty, then
And
the
then
Monday
Monday night,
night game.
Broncos at Seahawks. I'm taking the Broncos, obviously, and that's
Yeah, I'm taking the Broncos too. I think the Broncos are going to be on full display with Russell Wilson.
yeah, absolutely. That'll be fun.
All right. So let's see what the Thursday night schedule looks like.
Oh, for next week.
Yeah. Chargers at Chiefs.
Chargers at Chiefs.
That's a good
That's gonna
fucking
be
game. That's a good Thursday
yeah.
night game. Week 3, Steelers at the Browns. If Deshaun was playing, it would have probably sold better. That's what they were looking for. Week 4, Dolphins at the Bengals. That potentially could be a pretty good fucking game.
Yeah.
All right. Week 5, Colts at Broncos.
Eh.
That could potentially be a good game, depending on the way if Matt Ryan and them are rolling.
Eh. Broncos are gonna be too good.
Week 6, Commanders at Bears.
I'm not even touching that. I'm not even touching that.
I'll be streaming that game, fellas. I want to see what Justin Fields is gonna do. I'm pretty interested in him to see if he's gonna have a slump, or if he's gonna bounce back and be the quarterback that the Bears hope he's gonna be.
Right.
Week 7, Saints at Cardinals. Maybe for Jameis Winston, I'd watch.
Chris Olave would be the only reason for me.
Week 8, Ravens at Buccaneers.
That's not too bad.
That's not too bad at all. Week 9, Eagles at Texans. Come on, really? That should be a Sunday 1:00 game that nobody gives a fuck about. Why are you doing that on primetime Thursday night?
Exactly.
Week 10, Falcons at Panthers.
That's another one. Why that should be a 1:00 game.
Yeah. Week 11, Titans at Packers.
I like that.
Yeah, I did too. There's nothing wrong with that. That should be a good game. Green Bay's good defense versus Derrick Henry.
Oh. The Vikings actually have a Thanksgiving game this year.
Nice.
They have the 8:20 game against the Patriots at home. Giants Cowboys and then Bills Lions.
See, now that's a good fucking Thanksgiving football. All of those games are good.
Because the Lions always, for the most part, for some reason, seem to play well on Thanksgiving.
Yeah. And forgot, we're going to have to see them forever on Thanksgiving because they always play on Thanksgiving. So do the Cowboys. Yeah. But I like that Bills, what is it?
Bills Lions.
I like that Bills Lions game. All right, week 13, Bills at Patriots. That's good.
That's a good divisional matchup.
Week 14, Raiders at Rams. That should be a good game.
Yeah, depending on where Oakland's at that time.
Yeah, week 15, 49ers at Seahawks. That's a 1:00 game.
That's garbage.
Week 16, Jaguars at Jets.
Like, really? Come on now.
I guess that's a game you would watch just to the projections for next year. You know? Week 17, Cowboys at Titans.
I like that one.
Yeah. And that's all of them. All right, good. We only played 2 Thursday games. Fucking Thanksgiving. God damn it.
Minnesota doesn't even have a Thursday game this year.
Really?
Yep.
Nice. That's good.
Well, no, they have I'm sorry, they have the Thanksgiving game.
Yeah, so that's one.
So, but it's gonna be a fun year. Definitely.
Definitely. So we're gonna see if you guys want comment on our Twitter, right? D&D Sportcast. You can send us your picks for this week, and we'll add them up, and we'll keep score.
See who wins
Yeah.
at the end of the year.
So, and if you guys have any fantasy questions, uh, tweet us at D&D Sportcast, and I'll be happy to answer you, or Danny will be happy to answer you. So, if you guys need anything, any ideas you guys want to hear from us, anything that we could do to help you guys, let us know. You know, like I said, you guys can find us at anchor.fm/DND1. We're on all platforms. I think we're on 10 plus platforms now, Danny.
Think so.
Yeah. And thank you again, Nathan Steed. I know you're not in here. We appreciate you, first time chatter.
Yes, sir.
And thank you for the question. It's a good question.
Share it, like it. Spread the love
Like it, motherfucker.
to your friends, and if you're the other people in your league, and you know.
So, what game are you looking forward to watching most besides the Viking game? What
This
game
week?
This week.
Let me see. Let me double check real quick. What am I really looking forward to wanting to watch this week? Raiders Chargers.
Raiders Chargers, yeah.
Because obviously I got Herbert and the two receivers for
Mike Williams and Keenan Allen.
But even if it wasn't a fantasy year for me, that Raiders Chargers game, because Justin Herbert, that's like after last year, you kind of made me more of a believer in Herbert.
I'm telling you, that kid he's the future of the league. I mean, I know they made Patrick Mahomes the face, but he is the future of the league.
Yeah. What about you?
Barring outside of that game, I'm looking at him right now, and to be honest with you, I'm really looking forward to that Miami Patriots game.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I'm really interested to see what Miami is going to look like.
Right.
Like that one and the Detroit game, because I've been watching Hard Knocks. So
you're gonna be on Detroit's bandwagon a little bit this year.
Yeah, I'll be on their bandwagon, but if they're hitting the shitter, I will fucking address it. You know what I mean? Because there's a couple of things in Hard Knocks, me personally, if I was a coach, that I didn't like. But there was a lot of things that I did like.
Right.
One of the things I could say that I really didn't appreciate is, players dancing and laughing with trainers. Shut the fuck up and go do a fucking drill. Like, what are we doing?
Right.
I understand it's got to be fun. You got to be loose and stuff like that. Me, that's just not my coaching personality. That trainer would have been fired on the spot, and he would have been running gases. I'm like, that's just the type of attitude I have. As you guys can see yesterday when I said about leaders and Josh Donaldson, I'm not here to fucking lose. I'm not here to fucking play games.
Yeah.
And especially if I'm the coach of the Detroit Lions, I'm not dealing with no bullshit. This whole rhetoric or fucking narrative that we're dog shit, it ends today.
Yeah.
And if I see dog shit out there, I will get rid of it. Like it's line in the sand.
Right.
So I will be very critical on them this year. I have high hopes for them, but I'm going to be very, very critical.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how they do.
Just to quote Dan Campbell again, I love it. I don't care if you have one ass cheek and 3 toes. I will beat your ass. You know what I mean? So that Detroit Eagles game, because it's also they're playing the Eagles, so I want them to lose. Yeah, right. I want the fucking Eagles to lose.
Yeah.
Sorry, sweetie.
For the Cowboys' sake.
Yeah. I mean, outside of, I would say, depending if it's going to be competitive or not, the Eagles-Detroit game, Patriots-Miami, Raiders-Chargers, Dallas-Tampa, Buffalo-Rams are probably going to be the most competitive games. I think the rest of the slate of the games are going to be clear winners. We're going to see clear winners.
Right. Yeah. But for the most part, these matchups this week, they're pretty much clear-cut and dry. For the most part, you know who's going to come out on top.
Yeah.
And who's not. And honestly, for the most part, the matchups this week are kind of ass. There's a couple that are pretty good, but the rest of them, for the most part, they're ass.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Like Saints-Falcons. we pretty much know Saints are gonna win that game,
Yeah.
right? Um, well, the Browns Panthers game could be actually competitive and pretty good,
It might be.
But the 49ers Chicago, we know how that should roll.
Yeah.
Steelers Bengals, it has the potential to be a good game, but I think the Bengals are just the better team.
Colts, Texans.
The Colts should roll. Should roll the Texans. Uh,
Yeah.
Ravens Jets. We know who's gonna win that game. Jaguars Washington.
Eh,
It just doesn't scream "watch me." You know what I
no,
mean? It
it
doesn't.
doesn't.
If you have fantasy players, yeah, then the games are worth watching. Uh, you know, would you trade away Antonio Gibson for Jerry Judy? Ooh.
It depends on what your running back situation looks like.
Yeah, well, what's your running back situation looking like, Patrick?
If you can afford to get rid of Antonio Gibson and not really hurt yourself in the running back slot, I
Hmm.
would say definitely do it.
Also, Patrick, tell me your wide receiver. What you got at wide receiver as well. Because I mean, right now, if you're really pressed for it, depending on what your situation is, if you could tell me, um, I let it ride 4 weeks. See what production you're getting from Gibson, and see how Jerry Judy's doing. Now, if Jerry Judy's
So,
blowing it up, maybe try to push for that trade sooner than later. Hmm.
yeah, I
That's a
mean,
tough
also,
question.
yeah, I mean, also you can. I mean, there's really not too many guys out there, but I mean, you could still go out there and maybe pick up Chris Olave. He's on. I mean, I don't know if he's available in your league, but at the moment he's available in my league as a free agent. Garrett Wilson. Um,
Oh shit! All right, I got CMC, Travis Etienne, Kareem Hunt. The wide receivers I got: CeeDee Lamb, Jalen Waddle, and Rashad Bateman.
your wide receivers definitely sound a lot stronger than your running backs.
Yeah,
I wouldn't do it.
I got Olave on my bench.
Mm,
Yeah, I mean,
don't drop him.
nah, don't drop him. Hmm. Pat, wait 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Wait two
definitely. Yeah,
weeks. See how your running back core is doing, right? If Antonio Gibson is helping, and you got Travis Etienne's putting up points, and CMC, and even Kareem Hunt, then I'd say don't do it. But now, if you're getting, hmm, fuck, shit. I mean, you got Olave on the bench, so you got to see what he's gonna come out to be.
yeah.
If you're getting production from Travis Etienne, Kareem Hunt, and CMC, then I'd say, like I say, wait the 2 weeks, but then I'd do it. Because if Rashad Bateman's not cutting it, and you can add Jerry Judy, I think is gonna have a way better year than Rashad Bateman, then you're looking sturdy at your wide receiver, core,
Yeah.
and your running backs are gonna be, if they're sustainable.
Should be enough to get you through.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
CeeDee Lamb, Jalen Waddle, Rashad Bateman. I like Lamb and Jalen Waddle. That's really good. I like Travis Etienne. I like the Kareem Hunt
Yeah, me too.
and Christian McCaffrey.
Hmm.
Hmm. So if
Yeah,
Christian McCaffrey is doing his thing and he could stay healthy, and Travis Etienne is doing what he can do, and Kareem Hunt, I'd say fuck it, yeah, do it, pull the
yeah,
trigger on that.
because then you can like kind of like filter in like a different guy every other week or every week as your as your third running back. As long as those top two guys are doing their thing.
He's
Yeah.
got Travis Kelsey as his tight end too. Holy shit, Pat.
Damn.
Yeah, so maybe wait the 1 or 2 weeks and then pull the trigger on that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if you're not getting really a lot of production from your running backs, then I'd say it's safe to say to stay with Antonio Gibson.
But also watch that waiver wire really, really closely within the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, you're gonna see somebody out there. Now, how many teams are in your league? And is it what's your lineup looking like? Is it one quarterback, two running backs, two wide receivers, a flex, and a tight end? defense, kicker. Oh, the breaking news: the Cowboys are working towards a deal for the former Eagle star and future Hall of Famer tackle Jason Peters.
I
Sources say.
I seen that. Yeah,
After a successful visit this past week, nothing is done, but there is a mutual interest in getting done. Peters could land with Dallas by Monday. Okay. In my other league, I got Justin Herbert, Austin Eckler, DeAndre Swift, Debo Samuel, AJ Brown, Jerry Judy, J.K. Dobbins, and Dalton Schultz. Both leagues are PPR 10 team.
that second league that you're in, that lineup sounds a lot more formidable.
Yeah. Well, I honestly, Pats, praise to you. You did fucking fantastic in both your leagues.
Yeah,
Jesus. 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, 1 flex, 1 quarterback. Okay. That's the standard. Nah, you did fucking fantastic, Pat.
I mean, I think potential sleepers could be. I mean, DJ Chark for Detroit. I mean, he's going to be the number one receiver for Jared Goff. You know,
I think the bigger sleepers. I'm on Ross St. Brown. That kid's good. He broke the Lions' receiving record last year.
did he?
Yeah, the rookie receiving.
Devontae Parker maybe for New England.
Yeah, that's a sneaky one.
You
Yeah,
know,
you may want to jump on that if you're having some trouble at the wide receiver.
if
Let's see.
he's
I'm gonna
available.
I'm gonna check out what's available in our league real quick, just so
I'm-
you can get like an eyeball of what may be out there for you. Already
I mean, he
players.
might not be available in his league because depending on whoever was drafted, but
All right, so somebody who doesn't. All right, well, I'm probably I may just jump on this. Yeah, Kadarius Tony. I'm sorry.
AJ Green is still out there in our league. Sammy Watkins.
AJ Green may be something. Yeah, Amon Ra's the number one wide receiver there. Yeah. Marvin Jones Jr. from Jacksonville. He had a solid year last year. I think he can have an even better year. You may want to look at him.
Got to see how what's his face does. Trevor.
Alrighty. My team. I got you there. And then Danny will give you his team. We're actually playing each other in our league this week. All right, I have Matthew Stafford, Najee Harris, Antonio Gibson as well. Tony Pollard, Cooper Cup, Mike Evans, Jay Waddle, Robert Tunyon, DJ Moore, New England defense, Jake Elliott, Chase Edmonds, Devin Singletary, Jarvis Landry, Mike Gesicki, Kayvon Turpin, James Robinson, Brandon Ayuk, Michael Carter Jr., and Mac Jones. Our league is 3 wide receiver, 3 running back, 1 tight end, 1 flex, 1 quarterback, 1 defense, 1 kicker. All right, Danny, let the man hear it.
All right, I got Justin Herbert, Joe Mixon, Nick Chubb, Damian Harris, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, Hunter Renfro, Dalton Schultz, Jerry Judy, Saints defense, Harrison Butker. On the bench, Jamison Crowder, Mark Ingram, Raheem Mostert, Alexander Madison, Christian Kirk, Kirk Cousins, Tyler Higbee, Broncos defense, and Tyler Boyd. Now, I still might switch out the Saints defense for the Broncos for Monday night because both of those are favorable matchups as far as my defense goes. I might start Jerry Judy. I'm not sure. I mean, I kind of like the Christian Kirk matchup against Washington this week, but without knowing how they're gonna gel, it's definitely something to potentially also stay away from.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're both, like projections are not really something to go by, but they're only projected to be a 1 point differential between each other. So that could be maybe a late minute switch, but we'll see how it pans out.
Yeah, Pat, we have 8 people in our league. We were looking for 10, but 2 people dropped out at the last moment, so I just kept it at 8. If you look on our page, I did live stream the draft, but my camera's a little too shitty. But I did announce the picks for the people if you wanted to watch it. We had somebody in our league though. If you were here earlier, you would have heard. Pretty fucking funny. He drafted 4 tight ends and 3 defenses.
Yeah. Like, seriously. Bonehead.
Yeah, Danny, Pat says both you got solid teams. I like Brandon Ayuk, and Vike fans team is really good. The only thing I don't like is having Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. But other than that, you really got a solid team. I
Yeah.
said that to him on draft day too. The way our draft went and the way how it went was weird to me. Like it should have been the reverse way, but he actually took Mike Williams before Keenan Allen.
I did, yeah.
But he got them back to back.
And by the time I got to when I took Keenan Allen, by the time it came to picking another receiver at that point, receiver at that point, you know, most of the top guys were already off the board, and I'm thinking like, well, why not? I mean, I get it. Stacking guys from one team isn't always the best option, but I mean, those are 1 and 2 for the Chargers.
Yeah,
And even when they're both out, I think their bye is week 8. Even when they're both out on a bye, I can slide Hunter Renfro up. I can slide Jerry Judy.
yeah.
Depending on the matchup, I can put Jamison Crowder or maybe Christian Kirk, depending on how he's doing with Jacksonville. And as I'm watching the waiver wires, just
It was just weird. Like I said, one of our friends like that was just throwing monkey wrenches into our draft. Like
yeah.
just give me 1 second. I'll pull the draft board over here. Fuck it.
But no, I understand what you're saying, Pat. Having those two definitely not the most ideal, but I mean,
I don't know if you guys can fucking see it. Nah, well, I'll just read it to you then. Fuck it. All right. So in the first round, the first pick was Jonathan Taylor. Then I got Cooper Kupp. The next pick from Chris was Justin Jefferson. The next pick by Willie was Derrick Henry. Then Danny took Joe Mixon. Then Stu took Austin Eckler. Then James took Dalvin Cook. And then Hyro took Christian McCaffrey. So then coming back, it was Jamar Chase. James took Aaron Jones. Stu took Travis Kelce. Danny took Nick Chubb. Willie took Debo Samuel. Chris took Stephon Diggs. I took Najee. My wife took Alvin Kamara. Like, all right, so for instance, what the monkey wrench is, let's see, in the 8th round, James takes Gerald Everett. Right? When T.J. Hawkinson was still available, Robert Tanya, Cole Kmet, Dalton Schultz, Zach Ertz, Mike Gesicki, Darren Waller were all available. And this guy, love him to death, but Gerald Everett in the 8th round. And then Hunter Henry in the 11th. He took Dawson Knox.
And he was the first guy to pick a defense, and he chooses the Redskins.
Yeah. And then he took Green Bay and Minnesota. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Christian did fall pretty... it's just... For me, it's... If you can't stay healthy, what the fuck use are you? So what, I get 5 weeks out of you at like a 15-week season, and then you're dog shit for 10 weeks, and I'm praying for you to get back?
Yeah.
That's why I'll never touch him. Yeah, Najee, I didn't gamble on him last year, but what a solid year. That's why I was like, yeah, I definitely have to take him this year.
But you got to be careful because there's an article I seen the other day. Is Pittsburgh handling his foot injury properly? Is that going to come back to bite you in a couple weeks?
Yeah.
And that could hurt for sure. And for me, after Nick Chubb and Joe Mixon, it definitely drops off a little bit, with Damian Harris and then having Madison and
yeah, but like we went through, because it projects the points through that of our league. He had solid points last year. I mean, like I think only once or twice was he under the 10 points.
Yeah.
I mean, what pick were you in your 10 team? What was your number pick, Pat? Now, if he stays healthy the whole season, he could definitely be like he used to be, one of the best backs in the league. But just, His consistency is getting hurt. You know what I mean? He definitely high ceiling, and with Baker, that should help even more.
Yeah,
You know?
especially at least coming out of the being out of the passing game.
Oh, you had number two.
Oh,
So did you? Who'd you take first? I mean, if he does stay healthy, I mean, he's got a hell of a fucking lineup.
he does, and honestly, I feel like his lineup, not the second league he's in, but that first lineup with McCaffrey, if he stays healthy, that's going to be the piece to really keep his lineup together.
Yeah,
Because then the rest of his running backs are decent enough to get the job done, and then his wide receivers are more than capable of putting up numbers every week.
yeah. I'm curious to see that fucking that connection between Robbie Anderson and Baker Mayfield. Is that gonna be a fuck you every time he throws him the ball?
I don't know, maybe, or maybe they become best of friends.
All right, Jonathan Taylor got taken first in our league as well. I
Yeah,
mean, the year he had last year, he deserves that number one pick. Either him or Cooper Cup.
right.
That's exactly why I took Cooper Cup second. I had the second pick as well, Pat. I mean, shit. I mean, Christian McCaffrey was one of my stardoms for the week for this week for the running backs.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know the Browns do have a solid defense, but worried about the Stafford injury. Uh, Elbow tendonitis and soreness. Depending if they're resting it or if he's just like I don't really give a fuck. I'll take a look at him. Uh, Basically my measuring stick for him is the Thursday game. Really, I'll see how he looks. But I also have Mac Jones in my back pocket. But there's also like a bunch of other. I always say this: you don't need a prolific quarterback to win your league, unless your league is driven for quarterback points. You can win a league with a Derek Carr, a
yeah.
Dak Prescott, a Mac Jones. It's all about the other position players in my eyes that are the most important.
Filling out the rest of your roster first.
You know what I mean? Because most leagues are like, oh, well, every 5 or 10 completions, a quarterback gets a point. And then there's PPR where it's like every 1, 3, or 5 catches or carries get you a point. So it's like there's more stock into the wide receivers and running backs and tight ends than there ever has been. I remember when we were doing
Yeah,
this before PPR. I've been doing this shit 16 years. I've been doing this since I was 15 years old. Shit, I was doing this
you know.
before they had websites where I had a spreadsheet and go on NFL.com and fucking write it all down and put it into a spreadsheet. Showing up to drafts with a fucking booklet. You know what I mean?
I mean, as far as running back go, I mean, I know you got Antonio Gibson, but I mean, you could potentially be looking at maybe Brian Robinson, his backup. I mean, I was hearing he might be ready to go for the year. After that incident he had.
Dude, Pat just said
Uh,
when Mahomes first got the start, right? When he was gonna start that first season, he goes, I took him as my backup in the 12th round. Oh, oh,
wow,
please tell me you won that year. Please tell me you won that year.
that's crazy.
That is. I think the craziest
Um,
pick I've ever had was the emergence of Maurice Jones-Drew. Because I remember when he came in, his name was just Maurice Jones, and then he changed it to Maurice Jones-Drew. And me and my dad were looking at him like, yo, this guy's he's gonna be something. And he was something that year.
yeah,
Yeah, I was the last one to take a quarterback in our league. I didn't take a quarterback until round 11. Yeah, that was the last one.
You still did pretty good.
Yeah, I ought to be able to do this. The way my luck goes is every year my draft, my team looks solid. And then motherfuckers get hurt all the fucking time. He goes, that was the best team I ever had.
I bet.
I fucking bet. That's like the year I drafted DeMarco Murray when he had that fucking explosive years with the Cowboys. Bro,
Oh
it was
yeah.
guaranteed every week I was walking away with 40 points.
Yeah, he was on fire that year.
He said, I remember I had Tyreek Hill and Devontae Adams too. Oh, get the fuck out of here. Were you drafting against people that never looked at football before, bro? Jesus. Devontae Adams at that time and then Tyreek with Pat? Oof, Lord. That's like what, 24, 25 points a game from each person?
Yeah.
Whew. And then he had Patrick Mahomes on top of that? That's funny. That was the best team I ever fucking had. You bet your ass it was. I wonder if Manhattan's going to approve, the Jets to get that stadium.
Where would they even build it?
Probably somewhere like downtown. Said, nah,
That's
I just got lucky. I had the wide receiver 1 and 2 and QBs 1 and 2 because I drafted Deshaun Watson as my starter. Oh my lord! So you had Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes?
that's crazy.
Yo, thank you, Pat. We appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
We're live every Saturday and Sunday, man. Saturdays we're live from 3 to 4:30. Sundays we're live 11:10 to about. Well, we extended the episode for you, so I mean, the more you'll be in your chat, and the more we'll probably extend it. We have no problem with that.
Nope, not
You
at
know what I
all.
mean? And I appreciate the sub. Tell your friends about us, man. We'll see you guys next Sunday.